Today we want to take a second and talk about the future of network marketing, emerging trends, how to adapt to changing marketing dynamics or market dynamics. So welcome to our Marketing Success Series. I'm Scott. Today we're looking ahead to explore kind of some trends and the future of network marketing in general and how you can position yourself for success in this rapidly evolving industry. Now, the network marketing industry, it stands at a critical point right now. Global direct selling revenues, they're over 180 billion annually, okay? And so many distributors, yet the industry is experiencing its most significant transformation in decades. Digital technology, changing consumer behaviors, regulatory shifts, economic trends, they're creating a lot of challenges and extraordinary opportunities for those who understand how to take advantage, okay? So in this training, we're going to examine these trends that are reshaping network marketing, and we'll identify the skills and the strategies that are essential for you to provide that roadmap for adapting your business to thrive in this landscape, okay? So it doesn't matter if you're a seasoned network marketing professional or relatively new to the industry. If you understand these future trends, it's going to give you a competitive advantage as you start to build your business for that long-term success. So let's talk about the digital transformation of network marketing, the most obvious and immediate change in the industry, right? So many people are online marketing their opportunities. So let's examine the key aspects of this shift and their implications for your business. So first, social selling evolution. Traditional social media strategies, they focused on broadcasting opportunity posts and product promotions. They're rapidly losing their effectiveness because that way of marketing is saturated. People have begun to tune it out. The emerging model is what I call niche authority building, creating valuable problem-solving content for specific audiences, okay? Establishing topical expertise related to your products or your opportunity, and building engaged communities around shared interests, right? Also using data-driven insights or targeted ideal prospects. It's all about understanding who your prospect is and knowing how to target and speak directly to those people. Companies and distributors who continue with outdated promotional approaches on social media, they're going to ultimately see diminishing returns. But those who understand how to do this correctly are going to rise, right? The integration of shopping experiences directly into social platforms, it's growing at 31% annually and reshaping how products are being discovered and purchased. So forward-thinking network marketing companies are integrating one-click purchasing. They're creating shareable interactive product experiences. They're developing influencer programs, with distributors. They're also using user-generated content to drive product credibility. But they're also offering more of like club savings, okay? This is a trend. It eliminates friction in the customer acquisition process, but it also creates new opportunities for distributors. Now, let's talk about automation and personalization, okay? There are AI-powered tools that are transforming prospect identification, follow-up systems, personalized communication, but the most successful distributors are the ones who find that balance between personal relationships and automation, okay? The best practice is what I call high-tech, high-touch. So you use AI tools to identify and qualify your prospects at a large scale. You want to implement initial outreach and education sequences and leveraging data analytics to personalize your communication. But then you want to reserve your personal time for high-value human interactions. It's not all about cutting out human interaction. It's about knowing when to mix it in. It scales your prospecting efforts while maintaining that personal connection that is essential for any online business, okay? Now, the pandemic accelerated the shift to virtual events, right? But the future is not simply replicating physical events online. It's creating hybrid experiences that leverage kind of the best of both worlds. So, top companies, they develop engaging production, quality virtual events. They create interactive training experiences rather than just passive webinars. They use gamification inside of groups to boost engagement. They also implement year-round micro events instead of just occasional major conventions. These are all trends in the industry that we're seeing in the last year and a half or so. The distributors who master virtual engagement, they're going to have a significant advantage in team building and retention. All right? Now, let's talk about changing consumer and changing distributor expectations, okay? So beyond digital transformation, there are fundamental shifts in what customers and distributors expect from companies. That's also reshaping the industry. So let's explore some of these expectations. You know, today's consumers are increasingly skeptical of marketing claims, and they demand authentic, transparent experiences. This shift is particularly significant for network marketing, which has historically struggled with credibility challenges, throwing out those wild income claims, okay? Successful companies and distributors, they're responding by providing this transparent information about income potential, sharing authentic experiences, including the limitations. It's not all about the pie in the sky vision. Also, it's all about personal brands. Remember, people buy you before they buy your product or service. And then documenting real journeys rather than just using highlight reels, okay? So the era of exaggerated claims and overnight success stories, that's ending, okay? It's being replaced by authentic narratives that build sustainable trust. Conscious consumption, okay, consumer purchasing decisions, they're increasingly reflecting personal values and social concerns. 73% of global consumers are willing to change consumption habits to reduce environmental impact. That's important, right? So forward-thinking network marketing companies are developing more sustainable product lines and packaging. They're implementing ethical sourcing and manufacturing practices. They're also creating transparent supply chains, establishing meaningful social impact initiatives, and empowering distributors as advocates for conscious consumption. This might not seem like a big trend, but it absolutely represents a significant opportunity for companies with genuine commitments to sustainability and social responsibility, right? Now, the gig economy has normalized entrepreneurial income streams, okay, with 36% of the US workforce now participating in independent work. But this normalization has also increased competition for distributors' time and attention. So you need to attract and retain distributors. So successful people are creating more flexible business building paths. They're developing digital-first opportunity modules, providing sophisticated analytics and performance tools, and offering an enhanced professional development beyond just selling skills. So by establishing a clear value proposition compared to other opportunities, these companies that adapt to the distributors' changing expectations, they're going to win the talent war, right, in the coming years. Now, let's talk about experience, right? Customers increasingly value experiences over possessions. 76% of consumers preferring to spend time or money on experiences rather than products alone. So, some of the ways you can take advantage of this are developing experiential elements for your product lines, creating community building opportunities around products, designing customer experiences that can be shared, or fostering lifestyle communities connected to your brand values. You want to shift more from product specifications to transformational stories. Now, this trend, it requires a fundamental shift in how products are presented and positioned in the marketplace, okay? Let's talk about something that's also important, and that is regulatory environment, okay? The regulatory environment of network marketing also continues to evolve in response to market pressures and scrutiny. So some of the implications of this are, regulatory landscape shifts. They've increased regulatory attention from the FTC and similar agencies worldwide. It's creating a more stringent compliance environment, all right? It's not a temporary trend, guys, but it's a fundamental reshaping of how the industry actually works. Okay, it's better for everybody, really. Emphasizing customer acquisition over distributor recruitment. Implementing stricter income claim guidelines is something we've seen over the last couple of years. Creating more sustainable compensation structures. Developing enhanced compliance monitoring systems, and proactively addressing historical industry criticism. Companies that look at compliance as a competitive advantage rather than a burden, they're also going to thrive in this environment. Now, let's talk about customer-centric compensation, okay? Traditional compensation plans, they're heavily weighed towards recruitment. They're evolving more towards customer-focused models that reward product sales and customer retention. Bigger bonuses, shares in company profits, maybe some increasing compensation plan for direct sales, but also rewarding customer retention and lifetime value, all right? Companies we see, they're actually implementing customer referral programs. So companies that are developing a hybrid e-commerce / network marketing approach, that shift with regulatory expectations, they're creating more sustainable business models. Now, this is something that's so important. The subscription economy. It's grown by more than 435% over the last decade, and network marketing companies are increasingly adopting subscription-based models. Several advantages to this, right? You're creating predictable recurring income for distributors. You're improving customer retention and lifetime value. You're providing a more stable company revenue source. You're enabling enhanced customer experience through customization, and you're reducing emphasis on continuous recruitment. So there are companies that have so effectively implemented this subscription approach that have created a huge revenues for distributors in a very, very short period of time, all right? Now, let's talk about global market access, okay? No more is it about talking to your neighbor, talking to your friends at the coffee shop, all right? There is a global growth to all countries in the world. People are developing localized community management strategies, but also cross-cultural team building systems, okay? International payment systems and logistics, huge. Also navigating country-specific regulations. So distributors who are able to develop skills in building international organizations, they have significant growth advantages in the coming years, right? So, given these industry shifts, let's talk about how to be most successful, okay? Emerging skills and strategies that are going to help define successful network marketers in the future. First, the niche authority, right? The mass market, the general opportunity approach, is being replaced by specialized expertise in defined niches. The more specific you can be on your niche and your ideal avatar, the more successful you'll be, okay? Future success depends on becoming a recognized authority in a specific area related to your products or opportunity, all right? So you want to identify those underserved market segments, all right? Develop genuine expertise and interest, for that matter, in solving specific problems. You want to create valuable content that demonstrates your knowledge and build engaged communities around these shared interests and these shared problem-solving techniques, okay? You want to position yourself as that trusted advisor rather than a salesperson. Generates higher quality prospects who already trust you before there's any discussion at all on the opportunity, all right? Now, the ability to create engaging, valuable content is becoming a fundamental network marketing skill. It's not about becoming an influencer, but it's about using content to establish credibility and genuinely generate that inbound interest, okay? It all goes back to understanding your audience needs, understanding their pain points, creating consistent, high-quality content that solves those problems, all right? If you can master that in multiple content formats, video, audio, written, text on screen, then you're going to rely less on outbound prospecting, and you're going to have more inbound interest. That's the key, okay? Let's talk about community building, okay? Traditional network marketing, it focused mostly on building organizations through just linear recruitment, right? But now we're talking about building engaged communities that naturally generate distributor and customer relationships. So effective community building, ways to do this are creating spaces for authentic connection around, the interest around your product or your service. Absolutely provide consistent value, independent of what the business opportunity is. You want to have a way to facilitate member-to-member relationships and support, and also, have a way to transition those community members to business relationships organically without it feeling forced. This approach, it creates a more sustainable organization with lower attrition rates. All right? Successful future distributors are not going to rely on one single approach, but they're going to adapt, several different ways to market with complementary income streams and value creation. Through developing professional services, right? Creating information products that complement company offerings, building that personal brand that's going to transcend any specific company, right? Leveraging your expertise through speaking and training opportunities and developing multiple income streams within these guidelines. So diversification, it always creates a more stable business. That's why I'm all about multiple streams of income. Now, let's talk about how you can actually implement some of these things, right? These trends, we want to translate them into a practical roadmap that's going to position your business for future success. So, number one is you want to have some kind of assessment, right? Evaluate your current business against the trends. If you're just getting started, obviously you don't have a current business to evaluate, but you want to identify specific gaps and or opportunities, and then determine what is your most critical priority, okay? Try to create a 12-month timeline. Establish clear metrics for measuring your progress. What this does is it creates a foundation for, being strategic growth rather than just reacting to changes, all right? Identify your specific expertise. Grow your target audience. Create your content strategy, your distribution plan. Define your unique perspective. So, let's take a minute and just review, okay? There are so many different changes. I personally believe that one of the biggest changes in the industry is the subscription model, because I've seen companies who are offering more of a subscription model, like a Costco, for example, and these companies are bringing in people at a much lower cost structure without requiring people to jump in and spend a lot of money month after month after month and be able to still create a sizable income. They have profit sharing. They have a lot of different ways in their compensation plan that will help people to grow their business quickly and effectively. And that is one of the major trends that I feel like you should take advantage of, okay? I hope you found value in this presentation today. If so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I will see you in the next video.